Okay, so hey everybody, welcome back to the Adroit's TT Esports Dota 2 Weekly. This is going to be a game between Finger is Missing and Tux. That's their names on the bracket. There you can obviously see that they're using slightly different names in game, so that's if you want to check them out on the Binary Beast brackets. As always, I am Basket bringing you guys this game, and we're getting underway very quickly. Hopefully I fixed all of those frame drop issues, so if the issue does persist, then I'll apologize profusely, but that's about all I can do while we're in the middle of a game. So anyway, getting underway with the draft. Nyx and Darkseer are going to be the bans for Finger is Missing, and Tuck's going to choose to ban out the Batrider and the Magnus. So Coddle remains in the pool. Who else has actually managed to slip through?
10 seconds remaining.
Well, I feel like the most noteworthy one is probably the Coddle, though we haven't really seen all that much emphasis on him so far, though that said, we've only watched one game so far. And Shadow Demon actually going to be the pickup here by Tux. So a reasonably good counter against both the Nakes and the PL, who are fairly popular carries at the moment. And Fingers Missing, they're going to choose to pick up the Coddle. Or we're going to see the PL right out of the bat. There is the Shadow Demon on the opposing team, but once you are at the point where you're sort of relying on your own army of PLs to win you the game, that does definitely spell trouble. So Tux, they're going to opt to pick up the Wisp and the CK here. So we're going to see some of that. It's not all that surprising. And I guess it does depend on whether or not you have a Wisp player. That's sort of how the draft works out right now. So the 4 bans that you see in front of you are fairly standard. Then you have to factor in Coddle PL and Wisp CK if the opposing team has a good Wisp player. And the Coddle PL really just comes down to taste. Some teams don't really enjoy running it all that much. And Fingers Missing actually choosing to run the Bounty Hunter in this game, someone who we haven't seen a lot of in competitive Dota for a while, though he is still quite strong on that offlane. So Finger is Missing. They could run an offensive tri-lane to try and exploit the weaknesses of the Wisp, but with Shadow Demon and CK, the defensive tri-lane from Tux won't actually be all that weak. And Lifesteal are actually going to be taken here by Finger is Missing. Again, sort of plays into the offensive tri-lane theme. He's a really good carry against relocate ganks, since, similar to what I said in the last game, you can just rage as soon as you see that relocate coming. You can just try and TP yourself out, or the rage and infest buy you enough time for the relocate to wear off, or for your teammates to make an appearance. So right now, both teams are looking for a mid. They've both pretty much sorted out their tri-lanes, and Tux are looking for their off lane, though they could look to run an offensive tri-lane with what they've got right now. There is the potential for a duo mid there as well, between the Wisp and the CK. So Fingers Missing just choosing to ban out the Lone Druid right now. That is an offlaner, so plays in a little bit there. And actually we just got a couple of mid bans from Tux right now. We'll see what their mid is going to be. The puck is still in the pool. And as far as countering the Nakes goes a little bit more, they could opt to run something like a Beastmaster on mid. It's not a bad choice, though again there are still a few good ranged heroes for mid lane right now. So we'll see how that all works out as we get further into the draft. Interesting to see that we didn't really see any support bans out from Tuck apart from the Undying, and they're actually going to opt to pick up the TA here, and I guess the Quap ban, making a little bit more sense in that context. So it's a very sort of, I guess, Russian style from them, if you want to call it that. The CK, the TA, the Wisp, all sort of standards of the CIS Dota scene. So we'll see how it works out. It's a fairly aggressive lineup, and aggression going up against the Keeper of Light, we'll have to see. They are more obviously oriented at ganking as opposed to pushing, so if they can just kill off the Coddle, then he's not really posing a threat. Though FIM looking to do something similar. They've got the Bounty Hunter, they've got Nakes, both fairly ganking oriented, and if Bounty Hunter falls behind, then he's not really contributing all that much, but if you are finding those ganks, if you are finding those kills, then the gold lead that he affords you is very difficult for the team to recover from. So Fingers Missing, what's it going to be? I'd like to see them pick up a stun in their remaining support. Something like Elena wouldn't be bad. Lifestealer can act as setup for the Light Strike Array. What else? As far as stunning supports go, what would they necessarily need? It would be nice to see them also manage to grab something to deal with the TA's refraction charges, since they don't really have much in that regard, but Puck is actually just going to be picked up here as that mid, so going to be trying to match up against the TA. Puck does have slightly better wave and rune control than the Templar Assassin, though obviously doesn't really have any tools to deal with those refraction charges, so they should both get a relatively good level of farm. And with the changes to TA's refraction mana cost, along with some base damage buffs to Puck, it is a little bit more even than it used to be.
10 seconds remaining.
GED or Tux, what's the last pickup going to be for them? Probably just an offlaner. The winner is still in the pool. If they're not feeling like an offlaner, they could just choose to run a jungler as well. There is still a Nature's Prophet who sort of fulfills both roles. And Enigma wouldn't actually be a bad choice either, especially against a Lifestealer and a Bounty Hunter, who really do both have to be sort of up in your face at all times. So there's plenty of options there. They could even go for something like a Chen if they want to put a little bit more push back into the lineup that they have right now. And Fingers Missing is just going to be one last support for them. So Nature's Prophet is going to be taken by Tux. So they've got a ridiculous amount of global presence right now between the Nature's Prophet and the Wisp. Being able to turn a 1v3 into a 4v3 is always great. And Fingers Missing don't really have all that much mobility for the Nakes right now. He can infest into the Puck and they can use that as initiation. And a lot of this game is going to come down to how farmed the CK gets, but Bane is actually going to be the choice here for Fingers Missing. So we might actually see an offensive tri-lane between the Bane, the Coddle, and the Lifestealer. Wisp is obviously quite weak in a defensive tri-lane, so they're trying to exploit that aspect. But CK helps to complement him fairly well, especially if Fingers Missing go for something too aggressive, get Reality Rifted back into the tower, and Shadow Demon, a pretty good defensive tri-lane support in his own right. So over on the side of Finger is Missing, we're going to have Rural playing the Lifestealer. Ira is going to be on the Bane. Hades ES is going to be on the Bounty Hunter. Fix is on the Puck. Big Fox is going to be on the Keeper of the Light. Speaking of Keeper of the Light, Ezlor is going to be playing the Wisp. Creatret is going to be on the Shadow Demon. We've got Rhyme on the Chaos Knight. Clays on TA, and that leaves Mantux. I guess that's where the name Tux comes from, playing the Nature's Prophet. And just starting off in the jungle. For now, as far as starting items go, we've got Obs and Sentries. For Tux, it's pretty standard. A little bit of alt chat happening right now, but we'll just ignore that. And I've still got the pick screen overlay up. Yeah, that's not good. There we go, guys. Sorry about that one. I'm sure I'll see some messages pop up in chat in a little bit about that one. That's an LD moment for me, I suppose, but managing to fix it before the game gets underway. So sorry about that. Hades ES hasn't been pooled anything for the Bounty Hunter on the off lane. Doesn't have a Clarity picked up either, though there is some more room to play down in the bottom lane as far as being a Bounty Hunter goes. So he should be relatively okay. But there is definitely some kill potential on the side of Tux. And Nature's Prophet actually heads up towards top lane right now, so not going to be starting off in the jungle. It's an interesting decision, especially given how much kill potential there is in this defensive tri-lane, and there shouldn't really be pressure put on the tower for a while. He could just opt to start off in the jungle and then TP up whenever he's needed to defend the tower, but right now, sending the Treants around, going to be looking for a pull on the wave, won't actually find it, so maybe just some XP and gold going the way of FIM right now. Our mid matchup is going to be the Puck against the TA. Starting items are actually pretty much the same for both sides, and Clay is actually opting for the first point up in the side blades right now, which is in fact a little bit unusual, but looking for that harass right from level 1 when the Puck won't have phase shift. So there is an argument to be made for it, and the Slipper and the Mantle slowing down things a little bit for both sides, so it should be a fairly similar bottle timing. And Mantux, well, scouting out what's happening up on top, will now just head over into the jungle. So it's going to be a fairly slow start for him, but should be able to catch up, especially if he can TP down to some ganks on the Bounty Hunter on the off lane. So right now we've actually got FIM just splitting their XP around. Worth noting that Big Fox is actually a stand-in for this game, so not part of their usual roster. And just some ping spam going out at the moment. I'm going to be finding some pretty good farm down on bot. They're the same story for the Nake. So the lane worth watching right now is sort of mid. Clay's up to 7 for 4. Fix only 1 for 1. So the TA actually doing a really good job of keeping the Puck out of the lane at the moment. We've actually got Ira coming in at this point as well, just to try and give an assist to the Puck. That's means he's not really getting all that much XP, and Puck is now forced to split things two ways. So unless they can really keep the TA off the wave, this might not necessarily be all that great for FIM right now. Got some ping spam going out on the Bounty Hunter, who's just hiding off in the trees right now. He's already used up all of his tango, so only the salve left, and now Clay is maybe in trouble on mid. Looks like we had a Nightmare out, but again, they just don't really have anything to chew through the refraction charges. So Bottle dropped off, and Clay is going to be absolutely fine to continue to soak XP, and Hades just blocked in a little bit right now. He's actually got a path all the way around, but there's a sentry ward down. Needs to try and get out of range of that. Let's have this thing going to be over the top. This might be our first blood drawn. Rhyme comes in. He's got a stun, and he's got the Reality Rift as well. And now Reality Rifted back in range of the sentry ward. Nice play there. First blood going to be drawn by the Chaos Knight. So, nicely played there with that first blood. Might actually have the option of heading towards a Hand of Midas, but since he is playing with the Wisp, more than likely just going to be some treads into a drum, and then probably the omelet. We do sometimes see people mix things up a little bit, going for a BKB earlier on, but he isn't really dealing with all that many non-BKB disables on the side of FIM right now, aside from the open wounds and perhaps the Nightmare. Mantux makes his way up towards top lane right now to try and find a little bit of farm. Our 2-minute rune was actually a regen, so Clay is heading down towards bot to grab that. The 0-minute rune was in fact an invis, but not really getting all that much use out of that one. Fix has enough gold for his bottle right now, and not actually opting to fly it out just yet. Is Nakes perhaps going for a Hand of Midas? Looks like he might be. So maybe waiting around for the recipe there until the bottle is delivered, but no. Fix now going to be sending the bottle out. So a significant amount slower than the TAs, and TA actually quite ahead as far as farm goes. Mantux in trouble up on top. We're going to have the Illuminate fly through. He's just going to try and TP himself out. Is it going to be fast enough? Yes, it will be. So nice decision making there. And again, a problem for FIM is that they don't really have any disables bar the Nightmare to cancel that. So until we get later in the game and start to see a Basher or something up on the Nakes, that's going to be an all too familiar story. Though the Fiend script will help out a little bit once they get up there. Fix in trouble on mid. He's going to phase shift one auto attack, but Clays, he's not done. Just chasing through right now. One right click going to do it. Hades comes in looking for a kill perhaps, but the regen rune pops up from Clays. Looks like he's going to be absolutely fine. At the same time, the 4-minute rune does spawn up on top. So Ira grabs himself that one, and we've got a whole bunch of heroes descending on mid right now, but Bounty Hunter not finding anything. Everybody just coming to mid for recovery at the moment. And can they kill off the TA? They can't really wait out her refraction charges. So it looks like Clays is going to be fine to make his escape, and a whole bunch of heroes dedicated here on mid lane. Mantix comes in. He doesn't actually have a Sprout just yet, but Ira the target. Illuminate now going to be channeled. Good disruption up. Soulcatcher in over the top as well. Hades can't really do all that much. Looks like Ira might drop here. Throws out a Nightmare on Clays, but Raikou is going to be enough to bring him down. And now Fix rejoining the fight. Illuminate flies in over the top, but Mantux again with the TP just straight out. Fix actually missing the Waning Rift there. They might have actually been able to find a kill on the Nature's Prophet, so even more XP and gold going the way of the Prophet right now, and Bounty Hunter finding absolutely nothing. Is now up to level 2 just from the action that we've had on mid and soaking up some XP, but that's about the extent of it so far. So lanes working out pretty well, I have to say, for Tux at the moment. Ezreal, that's the Wisp, not the Keeper of the Light. Down on bot is already pretty farmed, and CK did actually opt to go for the Midas with that first blood gold. So we might see him a little bit more farm oriented, though I guess the Wisp is all the gank that he really does need. And Big Fox actually going to be making his way down towards bot as well. This is frankly a little bit weird from FIM, and we'll also talk about the second point up in the Nightmare in just a second, but they've brought 3 heroes down to bot when they really could have just brought the Keeper of the Light and left the Bounty Hunter here to get the majority of the XP. It means that Ira isn't running any pulls up on top, which means Mantux has just headed straight up here, and he's actually able to sort of man-fight the Nakes a little bit, at least to get his farm up. And being in lane when there's a free lane is much, much better than just hanging around in the jungle. So Rural's going to do his best to try and drive him out of the lane right now, but that's losing him free farm time. And while he is right behind the CK at the moment, we'll see how long that lasts without support being up on top. Since again, look, Mantux can just straight man up on the Nakes, and that's pretty much it. We've got a Tether coming in as well, and Clay's coming in from the side. Rural's actually in trouble, going to pop off the Rage, but Clay is chasing through right now, and Meld not actually going to hit, but the Spirit's doing enough damage to find that kill, so a nice pick off there for Tux, and now leading the board 4-0. just map movement's a little bit weird for FIM right now. And now the Bounty Hunter actually coming up to look for some pulls. This is the disadvantage of the Bounty Hunter. Unless he finds the XP, unless he starts to find some ganks once he gets up to that crucial level 6, then he can frequently be dead weight, and he's not going to be a big contributor in the team fights, which may or may not be happening in the mid game. Again, Tux don't really have an AoE-oriented lineup. They're probably going to be looking for a more pick-off-oriented style. And Fix in trouble on mid, going to throw down a Waning Rift, but that's about it. And again, he can't really shut down Clays. Clays can play as aggressively as he possibly wants and still finding Psyblade spill after Psyblade spill. I mean, Puck only 11 for 4 right now, and the TA extremely dominant, 36 for 9. Rhyme down on bot, still just farming up a little bit right now. We've got 4 heroes on top for FIM. Maybe going to be looking for this tier 1 tower just to try and get some gold going. And warding, well, we just passed the 7-minute mark, so we just got rewards going up for both sides. Fix trying to find a little bit of farm back behind the tower, but again quite poor, and with both mid and the offlane going so badly for FIM. We'll see how this all works out. Nakes is going for a very farm-oriented build. He can't really look to gank all that much, and Wisp, while he isn't running any pulls or anything right now, they're actually going to try and hold onto top lane. Mantek's going up that way as well, and Clay is going to be making a motion through. Unfortunately finds himself an illusion rune for 8 minutes. It is still only 8 minutes into the game right now. It seems a little bit more action-packed just because of how many heroes we've got up on top. 4 Finger is missing, but yeah, Illuminate gonna fly through, and just the supports here to soak up a little bit of much needed XP. And the tier 1 tower already dead down on bot, and Rhyme and Mantox not done just yet. And even with the 1 point up in the Treants, enough to keep this push rolling. I'm going to be looking to secure himself a little bit more tower gold on top of the treads that he does already have, and hopefully see him use that Hand of Midas in just a second. So there we go. On mid, Fix still managing to keep the wave a little bit behind his tower, though I think Clays has been pushing it out fairly aggressively. TP is now going down towards bot. They want to hold on to this tower. The fortification popped as well, but nobody TPing into the tower itself. So this should be enough time for Rhyme and Mantox to just back themselves out. Mantox is going to be TPing. And pings go out on mid. Fix actually very, very low, just barely making his escape there. So Mantox wasn't actually TPing defensively, he was TPing for that kill. Hades chasing through right now, but nothing in terms of farm on this Bounty Hunter. And now the tier 1 on mid in trouble. Clays and Mantox right here, and all the TP support, well, all the TPs were already used to head down towards bot. So Tux looking to claim an uncontested tower of Rhyme, maybe in trouble, slowed down by the open wounds and the Janata hit, and Burl actually finds that kill. Mantox, nothing he could do but watch, didn't actually have enough mana for the Sprout or Treants. So a nice little pick off there for FIM, but the big problem for them right now is that they're investing 4 or 5 heroes to every single defense, still losing buildings, and then on the side of Tux, they're just farming. XP should be relatively heavily in favor of them right now. 2k XP, only 10 minutes into the game, is a pretty significant lead, and 5k gold as well. It has leveled off a little bit, but right now, I have to say FIM just being a little bit inefficient with their movements around the map right now. Bounty Hunter does almost have level 6, so that's going to be a big help as far as this sort of 5-man Dota style does go, and it'll be able to swing the gold back if they do find these kills. Rhyme's now headed his way up towards top. This big movement right now from FIM is being spotted out by this Radiant Ward, so if I just toggle you over to the Radiance vision right now, they see everybody coming, and Rhyme's actually just going to make his way down, and the 10-minute rune was a haste bottled up by Fix there, and looks like he might just have something up on the courier at the moment. Not quite, and Fix actually going to be spotted out here, but he does have a haste. Very short range jaunt, another 3 seconds down. They're going to get the tether stun in over the top, the purge as well. Fix is long gone, and a nice pick off there by Tux. 4 heroes up on top, looking to find a tier 1 as the exchange for their mid, but tier 1 on mid also in trouble right now, and Tux looks like they're not done just yet. Rhyme actually just farming up the jungle, and Mantox makes his way down towards bot, where he should be able to claim this tier 2. Fortification still on cooldown. TP support comes in, and a pause for the Shadow Demon. Okay, does he actually get this? I'm not sure if that damage is being counted just yet, so I think Mantox might get the tower. Bounty Hunter is looking for the denial right now, so we'll see how this all works out in just a second. And yeah, we're just waiting right now. Yep, and looks like we're ready to go, so we'll see. No, Bounty Hunter actually going to get the deny off there. The pause not really changing all that much. He was already turning for the deny as he TP'd in, and if he hadn't been, then it wouldn't have been fast enough, I think. So, nice little play there. 4 kills, still the lead for Tux at the moment. And Nakes with some phase boots finished up, just jumping from lane to lane right now. Can't really find stable farm, and again, reflects a little bit in the last hit denies right now, and the net worth. Rhyme leading just by a little bit, but though some of that is tower gold at the moment. So Rhyme just continues to farm, going to be making his way towards a drum right now. Mantux has finished up his Hand of Midas, so doing significantly better than the opposing offlaner. Clay's stuck here right now, but did they actually have any anti-invis coming in? Just continuing to damage him right now. Is there going to be a relocate or anything coming in? Clay's trying to move just a little bit, gets the refraction, gets the bottle charges, and now a pause from Hades. Not sure what's going on there. This is a fairly laggy server for both sides. And I can actually show you guys the pings right now as well, just so you can get an idea. We've actually got an unpause, so stuff that. Nakes is in trouble, but the disruption is going to go out on him. So buying them a little bit of time. The Nature's Prophet ultimate bounces through, and the illusion's blocking in there. Nicely played by the Keeper of Light, bouncing them away, but Rhyme comes in, and now Ira the target. Rural pops out, but he's actually just going to be right-clicked down by Clay's. Double kill for him, and 3-0, going the way of Tux, looking to make it 4. Mantux TP's in, doesn't actually have enough for the Sprout, so Big Fox just trying to make his escape, and well, fast enough to get out. So isn't actually 4-0 in the end. Clay is heading straight towards a Desolator right now, as opposed to the Blink Dagger, so a little bit interesting there. Does mean that they're going to be pretty much able to solo Roshan or duo Roshan at absolutely any time, especially with the Nature's Prophet as well, even with only 2 points up in the trance. Mantux is tracked right now. We've got 3 heroes making their way up towards top to try and claim this tier 1. But, well, FIM just trying to outman Tux at every turn, so bringing 4 or 5 heroes where they may not necessarily need them, and the problem with this is that, I mean, they're not really finding that much for their bounty hunters, so in these larger scale engagements he's not actually contributing all that much, though I guess the trade-off is if they can find track kills with 5 heroes there, it's a lot of gold in their pockets, but at the same time he isn't actually contributing all that much that way, and actually opting for no points up in the Shuriken Toss and a lot of points in Janata right now, which is a slightly more consistent damage build, but doesn't really have the burst, which I think that he should be looking for, especially against someone like the Wisp. If you can pop him fairly early in the fight, then you're not dealing with the immense damage from the spirits, nor the consistent reality of stuns. And Vrul is actually the target down on bot. Is the right click going to be enough to finish him off? So relocate not actually needed. Was trying to rage and TP himself out. Eslor and Crit going to be heading back up towards top in just a second. And yeah, well, actually over towards the ward. I thought they'd TP'd in from top for some reason, so thought that was why 3 heroes were clustering up, but bad map awareness by me, so sorry about that one, guys. 14-minute rune is a haste, warding a little bit better right now for Tux. Still fairly defensive, in fact, given their map position, and Mantux now in trouble. The Eliminate going to be channeled, and Fix taking some damage. The Blinding Light doesn't actually cancel. What? Yeah, there was a Shuriken Toss. Okay, so Hades comes in, they find that kill. Looks like it was a track kill as well, going the way of 3. Nicely played by FIM there. And yeah, what I was trying to say was, Blinding Light, while it does bounce people around, it doesn't actually mini-stun. It doesn't actually break channels or anything like that. So it was the Shuriken Toss that cancelled that TP from the Nature's Prophet. Clay's up on the high ground waiting with his Desolator and the Meld ready as well. Just waiting for Rural to make, or for Big Fox to make a tragic decision right now. Mantux TP's in as well. Ryan may be looking for the reality of right this second. Big Fox weighs his options, decides against it, weighs his options, decides against it, but Rhyme, he's just going to go straight forward. Actually, reality of the creep, bit of a misclick there. Furl actually raged himself, and Rhyme now in trouble, tanking up the tower as well. Going to pop out the Phantasm, but the Illuminate wipes him out, and now Fix phase shifts out of the damage. We've got the Infest popping up as well, Mantux dropping low, and now now we've got some tracks flying out. Clay's a little bit of misplay there, actually using the animation trap pop. We've got the Nature's Prophet ultimate flying through. Clay is still looking for this kill, but he's going to be silenced, so he can't Meld Strike. One more right click might do it. The creep's actually finishing that one off for him, and the Nakes drops as well. Big Fox trying to make his retreat, but it's a 3-for-1 exchange right now. Hades comes in from the rear, but immediately soul captured up, and just going to try and escape. Big Fox being chased by a very, very speedy TA right now, trying to do what he can. Oh, he's going to try and drag someone into the fight. Who's it going to be? It might just be straight to their doom. Oh, Bounty comes in. He is invis, so it looks like he will survive, but questionable there from the Keeper of the Light. So Bounty Hunter left alone to try and defend on mid. A nice little team fight taken by Tux, now leading by 10 kills, over 7.5k the XP lead, and heading up towards a 10k gold advantage as well. Bounty Hunter just going to throw out a few tracks, but that's going to be about the extent of it for now. So FIM, it's not really looking great for them. Nakes is fairly behind as far as farm goes, doesn't really have his armlet up just yet. Meanwhile, Rhyme, while he did die in that last fight, a little bit closer to his armlet and does actually have a Gem of Endurance in his arsenal as well. Mantux heads up towards top, and this is the other big problem with FIM just sending 4 or 5 heroes to literally everything, that the Nature's Prophet can just continue to split push them to death. Clay's his invis in the middle of 4, and there's an invis here right here canceling that smoke. So no fun whatsoever had. Shadow Demon actually choosing to walk into the middle of this, but looks like we're going to have Mantux TP in, 2 already dropped, and Rhyme with the TP with Ezreal. And that's the Wisp. Hades in trouble, 4 seconds down up on him, surviving for a little bit. The right clicks and the Nature's Prophet ultimate going to be finding that kill. And Big Fox dies as well. Out pops Rule. He's going to pop a Rage. Can we get a ground targeted Sprout? Looks like Mantux not quite in range. And actually going to be TPing himself around. There's a disruption as well. There's the Soul Catcher. And Rule now in trouble. Reality Rifted out of the trees, but not out of the woods. So he's going to drop as well. And that was a bad joke, but I hope you guys will put up with it. So Tux not done, should be able to claim themselves an easy tier 2. Right now there is still a tier 2 on mid for them to try and grab. FIM, they do have good turtle, they've got the Illuminate from the Keeper of the Light, and pretty good defensive team fight, but Tux really just do have the tools at the moment to play the Starvation game, go for Roshan, and then once they feel strong enough to just push up onto that high ground. And Big Fox being pretty ballsy there, channeling almost a full Illuminate just to try and wipe out the wave, but Mantux just heads his way straight down towards bot and actually looking towards a Necronomicon right now. So a little bit more push power for them as well. Clay's slightly more carry-oriented TA build as well. Hades may be in trouble, but just going to jump into the Windwalk there. And we've actually got a Nightmare off on Rhyme, and the Fiend's Grip is available as well. Shadow Demon, what is he doing? Defensive Disruption attempted, but cancelled there. Rhyme actually fairly low. Nice 3-man Dream Coil connects there, and the Fiend's Grip in over the top. Hades trying to go to work. Rule now comes in. The Reality Rift through. Rhyme drops low, but still surviving for now. Nice Infest dodge on that right-click. Mantux does drop, and now Clay is just trying to go to work. Going to be right-click down. The Refraction charges not keeping him alive there, and a double kill picked up by Rule. Rhyme trying to make his escape. Mana up on the Nakes, trying to find that open wounds. Is the CK fast enough? The Nature's Prophet ultimate flies through as he buys back, and Rural going to pop off the Rage to try and survive. Doesn't actually have the Infest. 3 seconds left on Big Fox. Nice turnaround from Tux. Nicely calculated buybacks as well, and actually finding a pretty even exchange at the end of the day. Nicely turned around by them. So the remaining, well, the last tier 2 on the Dire side going to be claimed by Tux. Can probably set their sights towards Roshan right now. Some pings going out to that effect. They've got the Desolator and the Meld as well to make very, very quick work of it. And Mantux does actually have his Necro book, well, Necro 1 finished up right now. Support's going to be heading back into the thick of it, and we've actually got a mech finished up on Ezreal. So 2-0-11, doing fantastically on this Wisp as far as avoiding death goes. And normally he would be a pretty soft target for the lineup of FIM. So Roshan taken, we're actually going to have that one up on the TA, and a gem picked up as well right now from Tux. Calling Blade pinged. Okay, not sure how that one worked, but anyway. So Tux in a pretty good position to try and take the high ground. Again, there is still pretty good turtle, there is still pretty good defensive team fight over on the side of Finger is missing. Though it is only a rank 3 Illuminate right now, but that's not necessarily the biggest deal. And again, Bounty Hunter not really helping out all that much in these man fights, now slowed down. Tux looking to head straight up onto the high ground. The Illuminate slowing them down a little bit, but the mech pops off, and the Treant's still alive. So backdoor protection not re-engaging just yet, and Rhyme with a big jump through. Actually a fairly unlucky Reality Rift there, stuck in the middle of the base, but Fix actually grabs the Nightmare off, so Rhyme going to be able to make his escape. Defensive Disruption on the Shadow Demon going to be bounced out of the base with a Mana Leak for his trouble. The tier 3 already down, and the Dream Coil in over the top. Rhyme actually not managing to break that one using the Reality Rift. Now we've got a Fiend's Grip up on Clay's. He might drop. Nice throw through. He's actually tracked up at the moment, so will drop, but he does still have that Aegis available. And Mantux dying at the same time. Can they find this kill? Clays doesn't have a blink, so he can't immediately escape. Tries to hide in the meld, and now trying to find a kill on Big Fox, but tracked up and going to lose the gem at the same time as Lure trying to make his retreat. Nothing to tether to, but looks like he's going to be fine. Well held by FIM. The tier 3 was taken, but they did manage to get the Aegis and the secondary kill on the TA, so clawing their way back into this game slowly but surely. Only 13 the split right now, and XP looks like it might take a little bit of a nosedive, but it is already up above 15k in favor of the Radiant side right now. So Bounty Hunter now getting a little bit more farm online. Nakes has his armlet finished up. That's a pretty big boon for him. CK armlet finished, now making his way towards that BKB. So that's going to be a pretty significant pickup for him. Not a whole lot of progress on the Wisp. And we've just got Shadow Demon working his way towards the 4-staff right now. And FIM being a little bit more efficient with their time now as well, having people in each lane. Bigfoot's going to head across, is spotted out by the last seconds of that Radiant Ward. And we'll see if that's going to be enough to kill him. Sentry Ward thrown down, and that unfortunate ward going to be immediately gotten rid of. So, FIM playing a little bit blind right now, but they've got sight over the Roshan pit. Not really helping them out all that much, especially given that Rosh is already dead. And we've got nice offensive wards down from Tux. Again, playing in with that relocate style of, well, the relocate and the global teleport style of gameplay that they are going for at the moment. Since breaking the base can be a little bit difficult, especially against the Keeper of the Light, who does now have his 4th point up in that Illuminate. Next item pickup for him, not 100% sure what it's going to be. Might even still be a Maelstrom to try and deal with the CK Illusions a little bit. United being purged up, not able to connect the Soul Catcher. They're going to try and make his escape using a TP scroll with the Rage, and will actually be able to do so. Mantux comes in. They're not done just yet. The Illuminate trying to wipe out that push, but the mech immediately pops off, and Fix drawn back in with the Reality. 4 seconds down to him. This is one dead puck. No, nice Nightmare keeping him alive at least for a little while. The Treant's not actually dragging that one off. Illuminate flies through. Fix does drop. We've now got a Fiend's Grip up on the Wisp, trying to bring him down. A lot of hate going his way. His first death of the game. Rhyme still going to work. Phantasm popped off as well. Now looking towards Big Fox, who does immediately drop. Fix comes in. Buyback for him. Dream Coil down. Rhyme and Mantux in trouble tanking up the tower, and Rhyme Armlet maybe needs a toggle, just trying to find some right clicks at the moment. Good defensive disruption, gonna buy him some time. Well, the tower is still absolutely fine, and Clays actually comes in on mid, claims himself the Rax, and FIM still trying to chase out. They do find themselves a track kill and a dominating streak for Rural, but Clays, he's not done on mid, still looking for the range Drax, and will actually find it tracked up, and will make his escape. And that's actually a fairly old track. They knew what was happening the entire time, but needed to deal with the team fight up on top, and FIM actually threw some TPs towards that one as well. Mantux comes in. Right now the dust pops off. They've also got the Necro 3 as well if they need to spot out Bounty Hunter even further, and right click's already bringing him low. One more gonna do it. Nice Nightmare there from Ira, but just a little bit too late. And Nightmare is HP removal, so that's why it's not cancelling that soul release charge from the urn, if anyone was interested in that very random mechanics point. Anywho, right now, looking pretty good still for Tux. They're now up 1 rack, so that's something that FIM need to be dealing with constantly, and it's something that you never want to really deal with against the Nature's Prophet. They've got a Keeper of the Light, so they can send someone back, handle the aggression, and then bring them back if they ever manage to break out of the base later on into the game. So there are options available, but losing a Rax against the Nature's Prophet is always a pest, because he's always going to be getting creeps in the base. Well, if they're creeps in the base, then he can just TP in and start wailing on your structures. Otherwise, if it's a side lane that's being pushed in, then he can just continue to apply pressure there and force TPs back. So it is nice that FIM have the coddle to try and deal with that style of gameplay. But again, just straight teamfights are also a problem for them right now. Bounty Hunter almost up to level 11. Gold starting to spiral out a little bit towards 20k. Still 15k the XP lead as well, and Rhyme now with that EKB finished. So maybe look for something fairly soon. Roshan's going to be up in about 4 minutes as well, so not necessarily necessary for that one to be waited for. And Rural just going to go for the Rage and TP again as Mantux comes up. So a nice boon for him is as far as being able to farm out this aggressively. A lot of other carries would not be able to do so, and that's another +1 for the Nakes pickup in this game. We've got some wards up for the Dire side right now, but I think the gem is very, very near. Oh, there's actually a sentry ward, so those fresh wards going to be taken care of in very, very quickly. And I have to stop saying very, I suspect. Clays has got his Manta style finished up. It's normally nice for slow rolling pushes, but against the Keeper of the Light, those illusions should be wiped out fairly quickly. So it's an okay pickup. Would it be nice to see a BKB up as well? And we've got a slow going down. Looks like they're going to relocate straight into the base. Rhyme going to work. Immediately pops up the Phantasm. Now looking for Big Fox, who's going to be nightmared. Nicely played there. Ezlor drops low. He's actually going to drop. Rhyme still going to work. And Hades trying to make his escape. Clay is still chasing after Ira. They're all the way back by the fountain. 4 seconds stun up on Fix. Rhyme finds that kill. Now tracked. Viril trying to make his escape, but purged up and immediately popped. Double kill there for the CK. Buyback for the Bounty Hunter and for the Nakes. Mantox is actually on the racks right now. The tier 3 already dead. Viril comes in looking for Rhyme. The armlet now up, and Viril just getting right clicked down. Look at the minus armor go to work. Rhyme finds himself a triple kill twice on one hero. No buyback for the Nakes, and Clays just keeping FIM back right now. Ira tried to make his way back around the Ancient. Ultra kill for Rhyme. He's looking for the Rampage right now. He's got Reality Rift up in just a second, but Hades says no. One right click with the Janata finds himself that kill. The melee barracks is already dead, so Mantox goes back for the range. And oh, the dust poorly timed. Necro minions not actually available right now. Shadow Walk going to be up in just a second, but Hades actually just man fighting right now. Mantox will drop perhaps one more right click, going to do it, and now the Shadow Demon trying to make his escape. Force Staff on cooldown. Fix still chasing. Dreamcoil not available, but we've got a Mana Leak up on the Shadow Demon. Going to try and TP out, but I think the damage, no, not actually enough. So nice TP out from him, makes his way back to his base, but the damage has been done. Tux did manage to find that second Rax. 4 seconds stun up now on a Big Fox. Nice Nightmare again. That Rhyme's not done. He's actually just going to go straight for Ira this time around. Will he be able to escape? Viril comes in. Rhyme just farming right now. And Viril trying to manfight a little bit, but as he gets lower, not stealing enough life to stay alive. Rhyme will actually drop to that Illuminate and the ball flying through. Well, and the Illusory Orb. Illuminate and Illusory Orb flying through. The range track's now in trouble. Ezlor just taking a little bit of time for that one. Blinding Light flies through, so Clays needs to try and escape. But actually not going for the turnaround. Hades hiding right now, looking for the Wisp. Everyone a little bit split up at the moment, and still a fairly chaotic fight. Fix trying to do what he can. Rhyme still on the sidelines. Ezlor fairly low, going to tether himself across to the Shadow Demon. Mantox comes in as well. Bounty Hunter now in big trouble. The Necro unit's up as well. Have we seen the Mana Burn used just yet? We haven't, but it isn't needed. That's one more kill going the way of Tux. And FIM, all they can do is just hold off in the base right now. 4 heroes from Tux heading up onto the high ground, looking to end this one fairly soon.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And yeah, Mantox playing extremely aggressively right now. Hardly anyone there to back him up, but it doesn't really matter. Clay is making his way down towards bot, so diligently pushing as always. Like we saw on mid, Tux is actually going to TP his way down as well. And looks like everybody else maybe just trying to play the diversion right now. Ezlor, nicely timed by him, using the relocate to go back and bring Rhyme back towards the fray. The Blinding Light keeping everyone off right now. And the Fiend's Grip used but cancelled by Ira, or maybe cancelled by the bounce. Not 100% sure. Mantox in trouble, silenced up, just right-clicking through right now. Does he have buyback available? We'll find out in just a second. Yes, he does. And Rural now in trouble. Clay's just right-clicking away, finds that kill. Clay's tracked up, but Rhyme comes in from the rear. Big Fox already dead. Ira perhaps the next target for Rhyme. Now just going straight for Hades. Finds himself a double kill. And Mantox just happily watching from the sidelines right now. Tier 3 already dead. There's the buyback from the Nature's Prophet. And Mega Creep's coming up in just a second. So Tuck's going to be Tuck's going to be walking away with this one as the GG is called. And I'm just apologizing for Tux again. But anyway, nicely played by both teams. So well done by them. Looks like I didn't drop too many frames this game. Hopefully. So I'll wait for the final score screen for the sake of the VODs. I'll do a little bit of a wrap-up about where we are, and maybe I can get some speculation on what the next game is going to be. And then we'll be jumping to a short break, and we'll be back with the next game. So just a couple of shout-outs going out. So anyway, this was the Adroit's TT Esports Dota 2 Weekly #1. This is a match between, well, on the Binary Beast brackets, this is Tux. And Finger is missing, so if you want to check out the standings there. As always, I've been Basekip bringing you guys this game. Remember that you can support Adroits in a number of ways. You can follow it, or you can subscribe to the YouTube page over on Adroits, or youtube.com/AdroitsTV. There's Adroits tweets, And there's a whole bunch of other places that you can follow them as well. I'll probably drop those links in chat as soon as you guys catch up in about 2 minutes. But we're going to jump to a short break, and we will see you guys very, very soon for the next game. Hope to see you then.